Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Society for Biomaterials fourth webinar on how to get a job in how to get an academic job in bioengineering or biomedical engineering. Our speaker today is Dr. Robert Latour. Dr. Latour is currently the McQueen Quattlebaum Professor of Bioengineering at Clemson University. His research explores molecular simulation methods for biomaterials, the molecular structure of absorbed proteins, and biomaterials designed to control cellular responses with a focus on blood biomaterials interactions. Dr. Latour, take it away.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dan, and I appreciate everybody who's attending. And I'm pleased to provide my perspectives on how to get a job in academia. And first of all, I'd like to clarify, of course, this is not like going to the grocery store and buying a candy bar. I can't tell you that after hearing this presentation you'll automatically have a job in academia, but the focus of this is to help you better understand the process of preparing for an academic job, how the application process works and the interview process. And so when you delve into this process, you'll be better prepared and have a better understanding for what's involved. And by being better prepared, enhance your chances for finding that academic job that you're interested in. First, I believe there's a poll question. Dan, you want to take it over?
Sure. Just a quick question for the participants. What's your current education level? Are you a PhD candidate, master's degree or master's candidate, or an undergraduate degree holder or candidate? Give just a few more seconds here for responses. And closing that poll, Bob, it looks like 73% of our attendees are PhDs, 20% are PhD candidates, and 7% are undergrads.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Good. Thank you. So we'll proceed then. Okay, so as an overview of what I'll be presenting, I'll be covering, first of all, preparing up front for an academic position. So it's good to see that we have many people that are, have ways to go before we're really launching into this. So you have time to prepare. I'll be addressing identifying a suitable academic position where you'd like to work. I'll be talking about the application process, then the interview process, and then once you're successful, a few words getting a startup package and what that involves, and then finally have some suggested resources that you can follow up with. So first of all, an academic job involves the key things of teaching, scholarship, research, service, and then collegiality. And particularly, you want to start ahead of time as early as possible to build content for your CV in each of these areas, so you're ready to apply for positions when they are offered. And so just to say a few words about these different categories, for scholarship and research, the key is to publish. So you want to be actively conducting your research and writing it up as soon as it's ready to be published and getting it out there and published. And this is a lengthy process, and the earlier you start, the better. You really should be in a position where you have at least 3 to 5 publications on your CV when you get around to the point where you want to be applying for academic positions. You also should be looking for opportunities to present at professional meetings, and again, then these are things that you can list on your CV. Applying for awards, applying for fellowships and grants. All these are categories that will help you fill out your CV to show that you're active in your career and off and running. You should also look for ways to obtain classroom experience. So obviously, an academic position has a big emphasis on teaching, and you want to get some experience in a classroom beforehand that you can list on your CV. So either ways of helping out in the classroom as a teaching assistant. This can be a formal position or something you're volunteering to help with. You can also talk to your advisor about providing some substitute lectures, for example, if your advisor is out of town and needs someone to fill in on the classroom. These are all opportunities where you can gain classroom experience and then also have things that you can list on your CV. Service is also an important category where you want to demonstrate that you're involved on a broader basis than just your own research. So you can look for opportunities in professional societies. Most societies have student groups and student officer positions. Again, these are things that you can volunteer and help out with. They often don't take a great deal of time, and again, provide content for your CV to demonstrate that you're involved with service. You also can look for opportunities in your own department, college, and university. Same thing with student groups, or even just simply office assistants to help out with routine management of the office and helping out with that. The final category I list here is collegiality. Now, this is not something that's actually going to be listed on your CV, but this is extremely important in terms of preparing for asking faculty to write reference letters on your behalf when you're applying for a job. You want to have you want to have a representation, a reputation as a team player and a mentor, and you want your advisor to be able to say good things about how you're a pleasure to work with, how you work well with other students, how you're a good mentor, how you're a good colleague to work with in research, and you want to be able to build these interactions while you're preparing for your doctoral work, and this comes through just your daily work with your advisor, other faculty, staff, and students. You also should take the opportunity to network at conferences. Don't be shy. These are your chances to meet other people in the field, particularly other people at universities where you think you may be interested in applying. It's certainly helpful to be able to know and be known by other faculty and other departments, other universities to help, again, when you're ready to be applying for your positions. The next category then is once you are involved with preparing yourself for an academic position and building a CV, is be thinking seriously about where you'd like to work. This is obviously important, and you want a research-focused university or a smaller teaching-focused university, medical school, junior college, or technical college. Where you want to work? Do you want to be in a large city or a small town? What part of the country you would like to be in, or which country you'd like to be in. From my own experience, I thought I would be interested in more of a large city environment, and I went to grad school at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, and through that process I realized that I really enjoyed much more of a small town environment, and this is where Clemson was attractive to me. But this is something that, from my own experience, that I had thought through and was looking for. And it's not the top priority, but it's an important category to be thinking about. Dan, I believe you have another poll question then regarding the type of academic institution people are interested in.
Yeah, so of the options you've just outlined, a research-focused university or a teaching-focused university or a medical school or junior college, or if you're not sure, let us know, and I'll leave this poll open for just another few seconds. And Bob, right now it looks like 84% of our attendees are interested in a research-focused university, 5% interested in a teaching, no, 85, and 5% interested in a teaching-focused university, and 10% aren't sure.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Dan. Okay, so once you've decided these things, where you're interested in going, then of course your application process is ready to begin once you're in a position where you're far enough in your program where you're ready to be applying for your position. Typically, applications are requested in the fall, and decisions are made in the early spring, and invitations for interviews in the mid-spring, with positions then typically starting in August the following academic year. This can vary, so of course you want to look at the different announcements and to see what timing is requested. But it's important to apply early. Job offers often, or job opportunities often get 100 or more applications, and it's important to get in early. That's advantageous for your application. So here are several websites. Academic Keys, for example, lists the bioengineering positions. That's a great website. BMES also has a very nice job board. I believe SFB is working on those kind of websites as well. So
yes,
there's
we
some
are. As
other
a matter
websites.
of fact, if I could interrupt you for just a minute, Bob, I'll just let our attendees know that we are working on a job board as well, and that should be up in the middle of November, and I'll have links to the sites that you've listed here on that job board.
Okay, all right, good, thanks, Dan. And then, of course, in addition to these websites, most conferences you go to will have a job offering boards posted. Professional newsletters and journals often will have the posted advertisements. Networking, of course, is important. Talk to your advisor, talk to other faculty that you know when you're ready to start looking, and to get the word out and get the word back. Now, for the application process, there's typically several parts of that, which I've listed here that are common. First of all, a cover letter, then your CV, curriculum vitae, research statement. Often they'll want a teaching statement, a list of references and their contact information, and copies of your publications. This will vary from job advertisement, so make sure you read the advertisement carefully and provide what's asked. So just to go through these different items, the cover letter, if you're able to, you should provide it on your departmental letterhead if you're still at a particular university. And you should target your cover letter to the specific job announcement. Don't have a generic letter that you send to everybody. You want your cover letter to highlight what you have and what you're bringing to them. That'll call attention to yourself. And again, you want yourself to be able to stand out over the 100 other applications that may be coming in. You should clearly and succinctly provide your educational background and expertise. And it's important if you can particularly address why you think you'll really fill the needs of the position and meet what the department is after in terms of the new faculty that they want to bring on. And then for your curriculum vitae, you want to, of course, start off with your contact information so they know how to get back in touch with you, your educational background, honors awards, publications, presentations, any grants or fellowships you've been involved with, teaching experience, and service experience. And again, this is why it's important up front to start building content for your CV right away, because this is an ongoing process throughout your doctoral and postdoctoral program. For your research statement, you want to present the area of your research expertise that you're working on, but you also want to clearly outline plans for developing your own independent research lab once you start your academic position. This is really what, particularly research positions, this is what the department is interested in. What are you going to bring to them, and how you're going to be successful in bringing new capabilities into their department. So part of this is also plans for how your strategy for obtaining funding to support your lab. It's also good to include short-term and long-term goals in terms of your publication, the laboratory and research work that you plan on doing, how many students you plan on building up in your research group. And then also you can be looking at the existing faculty at that given department or the university and suggest potential collaborations where your expertise may be able to help support existing faculty that are there, and that these are again ways where you're making yourself attractive to the department, where you're bringing more than just your research program. You're bringing support for the other faculty there as well. And then if they ask for a teaching statement, it's important to project enthusiasm. If you're working with students in the classroom, often they may be asking for a teaching strategy. So how you plan to conduct yourself in the classroom, and you want to project that you want to keep the students engaged and have a dynamic classroom, and talk about some ideas about how to implement that in your teaching. You can address specific courses that you could teach based upon your own educational background, but you want to project versatility and willingness to adapt to the needs of the department. Your academic career, your doctoral program is really about learning new areas and learning how to apply them in research, and you should have the ability then to teach a broader level of classes beyond your specific classes that maybe you've had yourself, simply by digging in and learning the content of different subjects and be able to present them in the classroom. Excuse me. And then for your reference letters. So in addition to the name and contact information for the faculty members, typically 3 to 5 people that you want to provide letters of support, recommendation letters for your job offer, for your job position. It's also helpful to provide a statement of why you're selecting this person as a reference. Is this your advisor? This was someone you worked with that was on your research committee, etc. Someone you worked with in the classroom, to get a little perspective of where this person is coming from in terms of their interactions with you. It's important to ask permission to the person you want to be serve as your reference ahead of time. You should give them several weeks or a month in advance so they know to expect this, so they're not just blindsided by requests for reference letters when they are not expecting it. And you should provide the faculty writing reference letters with support materials to help them with that process. Typically your CV, a copy of your graduate school academic transcripts, and a one-page write-up or so of the top achievements that you would like to see have them highlight in your letter. So the faculty are in a position where they need to write something, and the more you can help them with that content, the easier it is for them and the better off it is for you. So you should provide that kind of information of suggested content that you would like to have in your letter. So after you have your applications sent out, and then you're waiting for the next process, which is the interview process. So in the meantime, the faculty at these various places where they have positions that are offered, there'll be a faculty search committee with a chair. They'll receive the applications, and can be quite a large number, and then they go through all these applications one by one and try to whittle them down to typically 3 to 5 top people that then they want to invite in for interviews, and that's the follow-up process.
Bob, could I interrupt you briefly?
Sure.
Question, I think it was a question on your last slides when you're talking about listing the awards, et cetera, on your CV. A question from one of our participants. Are these really the top achievements or awards, or can they be publications and grants written and funded, projects that we spearheaded? Exactly
Right.
how much detail should be provided there?
Well, what you want to provide is the things that you want your reference letter to be highlighting about why you're a good candidate for this position. So not necessarily all your any formal award or things, but more your research expertise. The capabilities you have in the laboratory, the interactions with other students as a leader, as a mentor, just any kind of key item that you think will that you can back up and support, that you'd like to be brought out, that you think will be pertinent for the particular application you're applying to.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so for the interview process, it may start off with an initial phone interview or an email inviting you to an on-site visit to the department. The on-site visits typically take about a 2-day process, and they'll involve one-on-one interviews with yourself and with the various faculty, staff, often students, the department chair, and the dean at the universities you're visiting. Then they'll typically include a seminar covering past and planned research and possibly your teaching aspirations, and then often an informal dinner with selected faculty members. So to give some pointers for the interview process, once you've made it to this point, you want to double check all the plans for travel, hotel, and schedule. Often they'll have you they may assist you with your travel and set up your hotel, or they may leave it to you to make these plans. And one rather humorous now that I look back at it situation for myself. I was at University of Pennsylvania applying to Clemson University for the job position, and they asked me to just make my own travel arrangements, and told me I need to fly into Greenville, South Carolina. So I contacted the travel agent at the University of Pennsylvania worked with in Philadelphia, and told them I needed to go to Greenville, South Carolina, and told them when I needed to arrive. And they made out my tickets and sent them to me. And when I got on the plane and flew down to Greenville and arrived in Greenville, I also had rented a car. And when I was picking up my car and asking for directions to drive to Clemson, I noted the puzzlement on the car agent's face. And we got out a map, and it was a large map of North and South Carolina. And to my horror, I realized that the agent was looking at a completely different corner of the map than I was. And here I'd actually flown into Greenville, North Carolina. So I hadn't realized my tickets. I looked at my ticket to see I was in Greenville, but I hadn't appreciated to double check I was flying to the right state. So I actually flew to Greenville, North Carolina. It put me back on the plane I just got off of to link through Raleigh, I think, and back to Greenville, South Carolina. Needless to say, this put me in a difficult position and late for my interview, for the first day's interviews. And so, but this is part of the process. You need to adapt, and I use this as basically a icebreaker for conversations, and it's as a humorous situation to laugh at myself for not being more careful about checking my tickets. So from it all worked out fine for me in the end. I received the position. But these are things that you need to be very careful of. So double check all your plans for your travel, your hotel. Dress to fit the position that you're serious, and obviously you want to project yourself as with a nice, clean and neat person that can present yourself in a professional manner. And ahead of time, you can request to meet specific faculty members that you think you'd be interested in talking with and who might be interested in your research as a collaborator. And these are people that then can help pull for you when it comes down to decide who's going to get the offer. It's important to ask for a copy of the interview schedule ahead of time, and then you can prepare for your visit by reviewing the background and research areas of each of the faculty members that you'll be meeting with, and gathering overall information on the department, college, and university, so you have some intelligent things to talk about once you arrive. So to say a few words about the one-on-one interviews, you want to relax as much as possible. Obviously, you'll be nervous. This gets better as the interviews go on. You want to exude confidence and maturity. And it helps to be able to do this by preparing yourself ahead of time for thinking through possible questions. You'll be asked a lot of questions about your research. There'll be people who won't be able to make your seminar, so you want to be able to quickly summarize what you'll be presenting. You want to be able to address questions regarding your research plans for developing your own independent laboratory and how you expect to fund it and build it up. You want to be able to address your teaching plans, courses that you could cover within the curriculum. So it's important to look at what their course content is and see how you'd be able to fit into that and contribute to that. You should have in mind short and long-term goals. And overall, why they should hire you. What are you going to bring to them to help them in their mission, and how you're going to fit in with their department. You should also keep in mind that interviews are a two-way street. You're also trying to find a place where you're going to feel happy and comfortable, and in a right environment that's going to help spawn your research and help you in your research program. So you should prepare questions for their faculty, students, staff, and administrators ahead of time. And again, this keeps the conversation moving. You can ask questions back regarding what their research is and where they're going with it, the departmental goals and directions. You can ask, what attracted them to the department and what they see as the strengths of the department in areas of need and development. And you also can ask about their thoughts about possible collaborations based upon your research and how your research can plug into other faculty there. So these are all questions that really help to break the ice and keep the conversation moving and make you even more comfortable and come across well in the interview process. And then probably the most critical part of your on-site visit is going to be your seminar. And this is where you're really showcasing what you've done. You're showcasing how you can relate to an audience. This also factors in how you'll do in the classroom and how engaging you are and interesting to listen to. The key thing here is I have my first bullet item is to practice, practice, practice. You want to have your content thoroughly worked out and the timing, so you're not going under time or way over time. And this is critically important. You want your presentation to flow smoothly and impress your audience. A couple comments. It's a very good idea to bring your own wireless slide changer. That way it uncouples you from your laptop and you can be more animated and engaging as you're doing your presentation. It's also good to bring your own laser pointer. Sometimes this is forgotten by the department that you're presenting at, and then you're stuck without a way to kind of step through your slides. So it's good to have your own laser pointer. Back up your presentation to guard against any kind of computer glitch on your own computer that could happen in an inopportune time. It's also important to check out the presentation room in the laptop projector connection ahead of time to make sure you overcome any technical issues. So when you're ready to give your presentation, everything runs smoothly. You want to provide, in your seminar, you want to provide a broad background and really strongly address the significance of your research for your audience. Many in your audience, most of the audiences are not going to have their specific background of your area of expertise. And so you want to make sure that they are going to appreciate what you're doing by providing them with the how what you're doing fits into the broader spectrum of things, and why it's important research to be addressed. And then what's extremely important is just your manner of conducting your presentation. I've seen so many presentations where the presenter will be staring at their laptop screen and basically talking to their laptop. This comes over very poorly. A much better way of presenting is to forget about your laptop. This is where the wireless slide changer comes in handy. You want to have your eyes on the screen where the projector is presenting. This is what your audience is looking at. You want to be looking at the same thing. And look back and forth between your screen and your audience and have good eye contact with your audience. This keeps them engaged and comes across as a much better presentation than standing at your laptop and staring at it and basically talking to your laptop. So you want to give impressions of confidence and enthusiasm, and afterward, when it comes to your question and answer period, it's fine if you don't know the answer to everything. Nobody does, and it's better to acknowledge the importance of a question and say you'd have to think about it some more before you'd really know how to answer it. What you don't want to do is start making up things, because this will surely get you in trouble, because someone in the audience will recognize that and perhaps jump at the chance to put this. So be honest and when you're going through your question and answer period. And then the follow-up is also important. Before you depart from your visit, you should make sure you meet with the search chair and ask them what the next step is, so you know where things are going to be going from there. It's important to send thank you notes to the search chair, search committee chair, the department chair, and any of the specific faculty that you met with that you feel you had noteworthy discussions with, that you'd like to touch base with, and just thank them for their ideas and their comments, and you enjoyed meeting them. Email notes are fine for this, actually preferred over formal letters. Faculty are very busy, and email is the way we communicate. And express appreciation for the opportunity to visit, and express your enthusiasm to join, and remind them perhaps of how you think you'll be able to contribute to what their department's doing. So finally, once you've hit the spot and gotten their attention and gotten the job offer, then it's time to begin negotiating your salary and the startup package. It's important that you don't want to engage in these things during your interview process. The interview is not the time for negotiating. You don't want to bring up salary or any of the demands. The interview should just be you learning about them and them learning about you, about your research, about how you interact, your personality, and get a feel of your dynamic of how you'll fit in with the personality of the department. But once that happens, once you have the job offer, then it's important to realize that it's time to negotiate your salary and startup package. You should be aware ahead of time of the typical salary ranges for the position you're applying for. The Chronicle of Higher Education publishes salary surveys, and I list the website of that here. This lists many different universities and the faculty salaries for assistant professor, associate, and full professor, averaged over all the different departments of these different universities. So it's good to have a good ballpark range of what you think is a fair and reasonable salary. But it's also important to be flexible and willing to negotiate. and have a good solid basis for what you're requesting. The objective is not just to milk the place for everything you can squeeze out of them, but to get something that's fair for both them and you, and to help you to fulfill the job that you're undertaking. So some typical items of the startup package: you want to, of course, have laboratory and office space, and you should have that defined, clearly defined of what that'll be and where it'll be. You need support to quickly establish a research program. The 10-year process goes along quite quickly, so it's important to get on your feet right away and get your lab up and moving, and get research results published. That'll support then proposal submissions to get funding you need to do and continue the research process, and for your publications. So you need to have your laboratory equipped and up and running very quickly. So what's good ahead of time is to think through and prepare an itemized list of the equipment that you'll need, how much it will cost, have that basis to be able to negotiate a startup package. You should also try to, you can communicate with the department in terms of what resources are already there that you could use, so you don't have to duplicate needs, but make a list of those things that you feel are critically important for the research that you want to get started on. The department wants you to be successful, and so they're going to be all for, within reason, to get you the things you need to get your lab up and running. Summer support is often part of this too. If you're 9-month faculty, that means you have 3 months that you're unemployed during the summer, and often it's going to take a while to bring in your own research grants to cover this time period. So it's often part of this to negotiate 1 or 2 summers of summer support for yourself as you continue to build your research program. And then, of course, the workers in your laboratory are going to be your students and or postdocs, and so it's going to be important as a startup package to negotiate if you can have student support to cover both student stipend and tuition waivers for the students to get people in your laboratory working right away. And then it's also very useful and important to negotiate, if possible, to have no teaching or committee duties for your first semester. This gives you time that you need to put your laboratory together and get the research going off the ground. Also then helps you to prepare the lecture materials you need for whatever course you may be assigned, typically teaching your second semester after you arrive. So that really wraps up the basis of what I want to present. Here are a few resources, some 3 different books that are just examples of books that can provide further content and direction for preparing for an academic job. And so these cover the things that I've presented in more detail. Also, there's several websites. These are several websites I looked at as I was putting things together for this talk, and these provide some helpful hints from other people who have recently gone through this process. So that wraps up my presentation, and I'd be happy to address any questions.
Bob, thank you very much. I do have a couple of questions already queued up, but if anybody would like to enter the queue, please just type them into the questions pane on your portal there. First, do you have any advice for somebody who's looking, what's the after PhD path from an engineering PhD to a medical academic position? How do you get from point A to point B?
Well, I mean, there's no magic bullet. You have to be constantly and actively searching broad and wide for the positions that are available, and just apply and apply and apply, and talk to colleagues and network to try to identify where the positions are that are coming up, and applying to them. There's no way around that process.
Okay, thanks. Any idea what a typical, sorry?
I was just going to say, and in between, of course, postdocs are often are pretty essential for an academic position now. So it's very difficult to go straight into an academic position from your PhD degree. Typically requires a postdoc experience to help fill out your CV in more depth. And those can also be positions that you take in the interim while you're applying to these positions.
Great. Just to let everybody know, I do see a couple of questions about can we get the slides. This entire presentation will be available on the website probably tomorrow or the next day. It's at biomaterials.org/webinars. All of the webinars that we're hosting will be recorded and available there for review. Next up, any ideas, Bob, on what a typical publication record and recommendations for hiring a tenure track faculty look like?
In terms of for your application to a tenure track faculty position, or
Yeah.
applying for tenure?
I believe they were talking about the prior.
Okay, yes, and typically you're looking, 3 to 5 publications at least, and I think that's critical. And if you've had then again any teaching experience that you can list, any type of grant support that you've been able to obtain either through fellowships that you've applied for or research projects you've been involved with. Those are some of the key features that are going to show that you can perform as an academic. Basically, you want to do everything you can to demonstrate that you're going through the same process as an academic does from the start. So they'll have confidence that you'll be able to come in and continue on in the position. But I would say for publications, minimum 3 to 5 publications, as well as several presentations at society meetings, posters, and oral presentations.
And how many recommendation letters would you guesstimate?
Typically 3 to 5.
Okay.
3 is usually the minimum. 5 probably usually no more than 5.
Thank you. Another question. Is it worth considering a department might already be full of PIs with similar experience to yours? Should you be discouraged from applying to that university or encouraged? How do you feel about that when you're looking at a department and the PIs all have kind of similar experience to yours? Is that a pro or a con?
Well, it can be either. It's a good question. I mean, generally the job announcement will specify what they're looking for. Or if you need more detail on that, don't be shy about contacting the contact person listed with the job announcement to ask them more details, specifically what they're looking for. And you want to be targeting your application to meet that need. So even if there are other people with similar expertise, if the job announcement is looking for further expertise in that area, there's a hole that they're still trying to fill. And so there, sometimes departments are trying to build focus areas where they're going to have a lot of depth in an area, so they can really take the lead. In that case, building strength in a particular area is what they're after. And other times, as you would imagine, you don't want to be duplicating something that's exactly already there. So I think the important part is to survey what capabilities are there and focus on what might be missing that you can plug into. Every area, even if it's a specific topic, has a certain breadth to it in terms of the different areas that contribute to that topic.
Thank you. We do have several more questions. We'll get to them as many of them as we can. Bob, I appreciate your indulgence in your schedule here.
Sure.
I know this is going to vary widely from university to university, but a question about the typical number of applications received versus the number of on-site interviews done versus the number of actually offers made. So for each position, how many on-site interviews are there and how many applications might be received? Again, I'm sure that's going to vary widely from institution to institution, but do you have any guidance there at all?
Well, I mean, as you say, depending, obviously, the top name universities are going to be getting hundreds of applications for positions. The smaller universities or technical colleges, may just be receiving a few dozen. So it's going to be, it'll scale certainly depending on the ranking and the notoriety of the university. Typically, we'd be bringing in 3 to 5 applicants for interviews. So typically, whatever the pool is, it'll typically be whittled down to 3 to 5 of the top people. That'll have to be approved by the department chair and the dean, and then they'll be brought in. And typically, there's only one position available, and that'll go to after the interviews are completed, that'll go to the top person, and then work down from there, if whether it's accepted or not.
Great, thank you. For the research statement specifically, how much of that should focus on past research, and how deep should it be? What level of depth should we go into in the research statement in general?
You want to keep it really to one page. Again, if the faculty committee is, if they're receiving 100 or more applications that they have to go through, if you have a 5-page research statement, they're not going to read it. You want to have very succinct, maybe 3/4 of a page, and so there's not room to go really into detailed depth, and they're not going to take time to read that. You want to hit the highlights of the significance, why this is really important, what are the key discoveries you've made, and why you think that these will be things that will be worth pursuing, that will be attractive for getting further funding to carry on the research and build it up further.
Great. Specifically on the K award, forgive me, I'm not familiar with the K award. But the question is, in the current funding environment, is a K award required to get an academic position?
Well, in our department, it's not. This is obviously going to, I wouldn't, obviously things like those kind of success in proposals are going to be a very beneficial factors in an application to show that you've been able to be successful in competing for grant money. So it's certainly a big plus, but I wouldn't say it's an essential. And obviously, again, it's going to be it'll vary. The much more competitive top tier institutions are going to have much broader range of applications, and there's going to be a certain number of those that are going to have those kind of awards that are certainly going to be are going to draw attention. But it's not an essential component. And what's more essential is the research expertise that you have, that department is looking for, and how that's going to help them develop in the directions they're looking at going.
Along the same lines, important is it to have a paper that's been published in Nature or Science to get noticed by recruiting committees?
Again, it's very, very analogous. I would say it's certainly not an essential. It's always always a a extra gold star on your application when you've got big name publications that you're publishing in. But I think it's not critical, and it's what's going to be more important is that you're in have a number of publications in very respected journals. They don't have to be Science and Nature. But certainly those are certainly highlights if you're able to have that.
Along the lines of the startup package, looking for a little more detail on that. And an expected startup package, how many PhD students would you really expect to be supported, or how long is that expected to last? What's a reasonable expectation there, do you think?
Right. I would say asking for support for 1 or 2 students in a doctoral program, typically is going to take 4 to 5 years. So you're going to you can ask for support for the student on all the way through their graduation, 4 to 5 years, or at least 3 years, enough to try to give yourself time to be successful in bringing in your own grants to support your lab. So I would say what's going to be typical is 1 or 2 students, doctoral students, and a period of from 3 to 4 to 5 years support for them to get moving on your program.
Thank you. In terms of people coming from different backgrounds and different size labs, et cetera, looking at publications, is it better to have, well, let me read the question verbatim. How are first author publications weighed differently from other author publications? Basically, is it better to have 2 or 3 first author publications, or 5 or 6 second or third author publications? You follow me?
Yeah. I would say it's critically important to be first author in your publications, if you're, different faculty have different ways of doing it. I've even heard of faculty using alphabetical order in their publications, and if that would be the case, you want to, in addition to listing the publication, you want to clearly identify what your role was in the publication. But you want to definitely have publications where you can explain that you were the primary author who wrote the paper and did the work. When you're middle of a group of 5 people, the question is always how much did you contribute here? Did you just do some relatively minor measurement that was part of characterizing one of their materials that they use in the research and not really involved in the research plan? And obviously something like that doesn't carry a lot of weight. And so I think it's very important to have several first author papers, or papers where you can clearly designate that you were the one who wrote the paper, did the work, and got the research results that you're presenting.
Thank you.
I would say, I'll add on to that, I guess for papers where you're middle author, it would be helpful to be able to explain your contribution, to clarify that, because that's always a question. Did you have 1% effort in this paper or 50%? And so you can, if you want to clarify, it would probably be helpful to, when you're listing your publications like this, to identify the role that you played in the work, and so the reviewers or the people looking at your application file have an understanding of what that was.
Again, Bob, thanks for your patience. We do have just a couple more in the queue here, but they're pretty straightforward. Sure. Is it possible, and I'm guessing anything's possible, so let's change that to how likely is it, to get a faculty position from the same department where you did your postdoc?
It's definitely possible, and there's pros and cons of that. Obviously, there's there's a general bias about not hiring your own. However, you're also then a known quantity, known entity, and so if you're really if you're in a postdoc position and you're really valued and you're really contributing to the department, that's a way to for them to think that you'd be ashamed to lose you to some other place just because you happen to do your postdoc there. So I don't think it's not a definite disadvantage. The advantage can be that if you really can demonstrate your abilities and the way you're contributing to the department and the point where they'll want to have you there.
Okay. In terms of the your publications that you're listing in your CV, should you include publications that you're still working on? And if there's a lot of them, like 10, does that work against you?
Yeah, that looks fishy because you're not, there's no way to back it up, and it's to say in preparation doesn't mean a whole lot.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't suggest listing 10 of those. That's kind of unrealistic. I think it would be all right to list a couple of those and indicate that they're show that you have more coming along the pipeline. But the emphasis is placed on what's submitted, particularly what's published. But it's fair game to say this has been submitted or it's under review. You definitely want to list those. But for in preparation, I would be kind of sparse with that.
Okay. Given what you said earlier about the research statement and its brevity, a question about should we include figures in the research statement? I'm guessing you'd advise against that.
Right. Yeah, I would. I would refer to papers. Sometimes they ask you to submit papers as part of your package, and you could refer, to this paper and figure so and so. I mean, and unless it's something really over the top that you really want to make a big deal about, then certainly that's. I mean, all these are general suggestions, not our hard black and white rules. But the main point is that, again, when the committee has 100 applications to go through, they're going to be looking through very quickly. So you got to have something that's really kind of even bulleted and sort of like when you're going around conferences and looking at posters that are full of text. Obviously, you walk right by because you're not going to stop and read the whole thing. But posters that are very graphic, highlight things and get something across very effectively and efficiently are more likely to be looked at.
Great, thank you. With regard to the research seminar, is it bad to talk about your PhD research, or should you focus only on postdoc research? Or do you want to tie it together?
Well, I think that you certainly want to be talking about your most recent research. So if you're in a postdoc, then you certainly should be highlighting on what's going on presently. There's no problem that I see about presenting your doctoral work, especially the highlights of it and the significance of it. You never know who's in the audience, and you do want to present what your expertise and capabilities are. So presenting the past research like you've done in your doctoral work, especially if it highlights other techniques that you've been involved with, that there might be someone in the audience that needs a collaborator with that kind of expertise, and this gives you a chance to sort of highlight all the breadth of expertise that you have, as well as the specific areas that you've worked on.
Thank you, and forgive me. This last one, I'm not quite sure. They asked it twice, and implored me to please ask the question, but I'm not quite sure I understand it, so I'm going to read it verbatim, and hopefully we can decipher what it means. Postdocs coming from a big school with no record or a small university with high-impact publications for applying for faculty position. So I guess they're talking about which situation is a better one to have been in.
Okay. Again, I think the bigger issue is how well your particular area is matching what they're looking for, what kind of hole they're looking to plug, and or what kind of area they're looking to meet in their own program. So I would say the two are basically sort of tied. Obviously, coming from a big name program is going to grab attention, but we've all had experiences where, you know, just because someone comes from a big name program doesn't mean they're as good as someone coming from, you know, another lesser known program that has done stellar research. So I'd say it's going to be more important when it comes down to it in your interview and your presentation about, you know, what you've actually accomplished in your research and how you can project your ability to meet the needs of what the job opportunity that is presented.
Bob, thank you so much for sharing your insight and your lessons learned. We really appreciate it.
Sure.
Since you actually have control of the floor, we are done with the questions. Could I ask you to advance to the next slide? Just
Certainly.
wanted to remind some folks about some upcoming dates we have at the University of Wisconsin. Their Biomaterials Day will be on November 13th in Madison. The New Jersey Center for Biomaterials will be hosting their Biomaterials Symposium on Biomaterial Science on November 9th right here in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And we'll be co-hosting with the Chinese Society for Biomaterial what is our third forum on innovation and regulation of biomaterials, and that'll be in conjunction with the Chinese Societies for Biomaterials meeting, which is happening in Haikou, China, November 20th to the 22nd. Our workshop will be on November 19th. As I mentioned, this recording will be online in just the next couple of days, and we will have a job board posted, I'm hoping, by next month. Thank you all very much for your participation.
Dan, I think you got one more slide here.
Oh, yeah, just a reminder. Thank you very much, Bob. Reminder that the World Biomaterials Congress coming up from May 17th to the 22nd in Montreal. The abstract deadline has passed, and I believe that notifications will be going out in the near future. Bob, thank you again.
Yeah, you're very welcome, and good luck to everybody. And just give it your best shot, and you know, and don't get discouraged. Keep on applying and keep on working, and that's your best way to success.
Thank you very much, Bob. Have a great day, everybody.